Hey there, family. I got a short video for y'all today. I had a living experience that kind of prompted me to want to do a video. For those that are familiar, this will be just a refresher. And for those that are not, I ask that y'all seek the Father and have Him give you confirmation on what I'm talking about, because this really is a very serious issue amongst people of all walks of life. So we're going to be in Galatians or Galatim 5, and I'm going to start reading in verse 16 here. And I say, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not accomplish the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, ruach, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are opposed to each other, so that you do not do what you desire to do. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under Torah. And the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanliness, indecency, idolatry, drug, sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. Let me say that again. That those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim. So when we first look at this, we think, oh, okay, well, let's not hate anyone. Let's not cause issues with people. Let's not have fits of rage, aka anger, not be selfish, not have jealousy issues, not have, adulterous relationships, that type of stuff. But when you go below the surface, and I want to hone in on this drug sorcery, because underneath of this, it's not what most people would think. Drug sorcery, we're thinking like witchcraft, which I think in the KJV, that's how you would typically see it, as witchcraft. And people are like, well, I'm not doing that. I don't have these witchcraft stones in my house, and I'm not doing incantations and all this type of stuff. But this is going to be a major wake-up call for those that are not familiar with what's underneath this right here. So when you go to Strong's number G in the Greek, 5331, you see pharmakia and all this other information. Guys and gals, when you're taking anything from Big Farm and the medical systems of this world, when you're popping these pills, when you're taking these shots, when you're fill in the blank, this is witchcraft. This is sorcery. So then I want to go over, because in the book of Hazon or Revelation, we also see this same Strong's number. So we're going to go over to Revelation 18. And I'm going to start reading just right here in 23. And the light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more at all. And the voice of the bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. This is a reference in regards to the Messiah and his bride. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by their drug sorcery all the nations were led astray. Okay? That word drug sorcery, again, that is G 5331. This goes back to 2021. This is what we're talking about here, y'all. If you put your trust, your allegiance to the world and the systems of the world, you are not putting your trust in the Most High Yahweh, our Elohim, Great Tatanka. Okay? Our ancestors, they were not using this type of stuff, but there's nothing new under the sun, or as I like to say, under the kuf. There's nothing new. So if we read on to verse 24, it says here, and in her was found the blood of prophets and set apart ones of all who were slain on the earth. This is in reference to our blood. Okay? Don't mess with the blood of the set apart ones. We were all made in the likeness and image of Elohim. And when you tamper, when you start putting all this nanotechnology, all this garbage and syringes in your body, you are willingly saying, I no longer want to be made in the likeness and image of Creator, so I'm going to change my image into a different image and have a different DNA code. Instead of the sequence of 10565, which is YHWH, which is the Father's name written in our blood, people made the decision to change their code to 1056665. Don't think I need to emphasize on what that means. So one thing that got brought to my attention is when you think about medicine, we have references. Okay, let's go to Luke. Let's see, Luke chapter 8 and verse 43. Yahusha, our Messiah, our peacemaker, he encountered the same type of stuff 2,000 years ago. And this is where we read, and a woman having a flow of blood for 12 years, that's not natural, who having spent all her livelihood on physicians, was unable to be healed by any. That's because physicians don't heal. They still kill and destroy. They bring sickness to the body. And even though many people go into the healthcare field, they mean well. I know, because my husband and I were in it for many years. We really wanted to, quote unquote, help heal people. But we did not realize that we do not battle against flesh and blood, but against the principalities of darkness. And so if we don't get to the root cause of the issue, which is not here in this physical realm, it's a spiritual issue that manifests into our physical realm. So when it comes to medicine, real medicine is here. I got this. Say hi, Tux. Say meow meow, kitty. Hi. Right here, we've got some fresh, just picked yesterday, peppermint. There's a lot of different medicinal properties to peppermint, y'all. A lot. And then I've got over here, check these out. Okay. There's a big pot. I'm drying those ones out on the table, but here's a big pot of peppermint. Okay. And that over there in that pot is what is it? It's something that you cook with. You put in like Italian. I'm forgetting the name of it at the moment. But anyways, we have all these herbs. Now the lawn just got cut, so I'm not able to show you, but you see out here, guys? Okay, we see a bunch of grass, but if we go, oh, here we are. Hallelujah, praise you, Abba. Look at this. Clover. This is medicine, guys. Here we got some plantain. This is some small plantain. That has a lot of medicinal properties. Okay, let's see. You know, there's several things. I could go all over the place. Abba gave us free medicine in the form of herbs. Okay, so when you go to Rapha, the Hebrew word for medicine, Rapha, the parent root is resh pei. You flip resh pei in the opposite order, it's pri, which is fruit. When we eat the right fruit, we are healed. Now, I'm not saying that we only need to eat right. That's part of it. That's part of having balance in your life. But if you don't take care of the spiritual issue, we can use natural medicine. We can eat the herbs of the field. We can, exercise. We can do different things. We need to be equal in all these areas, but people are not doing the most important one, which is a spiritual connection. They're only focusing on the physical things that we can do in this physical realm. And that's only part of the pie. You have to have balance. Abba is about equal weights and measures. He's about equal balances. So we've got to do all of them. All right. But in regards to this word medicine, Rapha, well, I'm just going to let the screen speak, because it'll do a better job than me. So this is what I got for y'all today. I did have one last thing to share. Okay, so people that have watched this channel for a while, you know that I always bring in the indigenous tribes to these videos, because once Abba showed me part of my ancestry and how incredibly important it is, and how the indigenous culture is a part of me and a part of our scriptures, it just lit a fire inside of me. And the more I look into things, the more I research stuff, the more I see how both the indigenous world and how they worship Creator and the Spirit, and how the white man's world tends to worship them in a book. And so you have two different aspects, two different ways of worship. I've found in a lot of cases that many of these tribes here in America specifically, many of these tribes, they actually know what we call Torah. They actually know a lot of these feasts. They know a lot of these principles, because they were not taught through a book. They were taught through oral teachings. They knew the oral Torah without ever reading the Bible, many of them. And so I have to speak about them in context of this video today, because there's just no leaving them out. Now, I know that, Tet, the medicine wheel, that we see in the indigenous culture today, it represents all 4 tribal nations, which describe the 12 tribes of Israel. I've talked about that before. But all 4 nations of skin tones, the dark skin, the yellow skin, the red skin, and the cream skin, we all have different medicine that heals, and we're scattered to the four corners of the earth, and we all can come together as one and bring this medicine that we have to heal the people. So what I wanted to share with y'all was, when it comes to these herbs and these medicines, when the white man came over here to America, their indigenous family was already here, because these lands belonged to them and they were given to them by Creator. Well, they were very nice and kind to what they considered to be foreigners, because they'd never seen, white man over here. And so they helped them. They taught them how to live in this area. They knew the medicines, they knew the herbs. They didn't have hospitals and pharmacies and all this type of stuff. They taught them the herbs of the field. And so this is where the herbs of the field are for the healing of the people. So without having knowledge of what we have around us that we can utilize to help heal these sick bodies that we have here, especially in America today, there's a lot of money that's made off of sick people. And so when we read in the native culture that, Mother Earth has provided everything for its children, well, most people are like, oh, that's pagan, that's witchcraft. Well, I already brought up what witchcraft is. And it's the pharmaceuticals. It's all this drug sorcery that people are popping in their mouth or shooting in their arms, or whatever the case might be. That is what real drug sorcery is in witchcraft. But see, with my native ancestors, they knew that medicine was something that the earth provided. So when you look at this term Mother Earth, I'm going to give you an understanding here. And for many, this might be like, wow. And for others, you might disagree with it. But this is what I've been taught by Creator. So I'm just spreading the truth of what I've been taught. Because there was a time, not long ago, that I would have crossed my fingers and said pagan too. So when you look up the word mother, it's referring to Hawa in the garden. And when you look up mother, it's under Strong's number H517. And this is where I wanted to take y'all at the end of this video here. When you go to Strong's number H517, and that's in, I believe, Genesis chapter 2, it says Hawa was the mother of all living. Well, she was. She is. So just like a mother, which is where we get mother, mom, ami, mommy. Okay, a lot of times our English words, they coincide with the Hebrew. It's pretty cool, actually. When you look at mother, what does a mother do? She's the strong glue, Aleph Mem, the strong glue that holds the family together, like one who holds on to her children to protect them, to nourish them. When a baby comes out of the womb, the first thing that is done is that baby is brought into the arms of its mother. The umbilical cord, the source of life that comes from the center, the belly button of its mother, is just long enough to where the mother can hold on to her child and give it nourishment seconds after it's delivered out. Just as the earth that was given to us to nourish and feed us, so does a mother nourish, and feed her children. She protects them. She watches out for them. She is strong, like Proverbs 31. She holds out her arm and tends to people in need. She is not idle, but she works with the strength of her arms. And so just as the Mother Earth that Abba created for us children to dwell upon, this is where a mother feeds and nourishes their child. And when the child becomes of age, it no longer needs milk, but is given juice or water. So just like with Tet and in the garden in Genesis 2, we read the 4 rivers proceeded out of the Garden of Eden. This is a model of the 4 rivers that reach out to the 4 corners of our Tet Eretz, earth. And water is life. Now in my indigenous ancestry tribe here in America, they say Mini Wachoni. Meni Wachoni. Do you guys hear that Hebrew word? Meni. It starts with Mem. Mem, Nun, Yod. Okay? These rivers, or Mini Wachoni, water is life, is used to give us nourishment. We need water to have food. We need water to survive because we are mostly water. And so let me flip the page here, read this. Okay, so it's talking about the length of the arm from elbow to fingertip. The mother of the family is the one who binds the family together by holding her arms and by the work of her arms. One whose arms hold the family together. Okay, so through her work and love. Also one who fulfills the role of a mother. All right. So anytime you guys hear Mother Earth or grandmother, they like to say that too in the indigenous culture. They're not saying some pagan deity or goddess or whatever. They're talking about the mother providing for our needs, which is why Abba gave us this earth to dwell upon. And it was a gift given to us. Just plain and simple. A gift given to us. So that's what I got for y'all. I just wanted to share that we've got to choose the real medicine that comes from the real earth, that's not concocted like a potion in a lab. Abba is our Rapha healer. We are to go to him to seek his counsel, to go to the elders that know the real medicine. Because in a lot of these indigenous tribes, just so y'all know, they have the original teachings of the Torah. They know that if there is sin in the camp, let's say somebody has alcoholism, or somebody is beating their spouse, or someone is, the list goes on and on and on. They recognized that if something like this was going on, that it was a spiritual problem, that they'd have to go to ceremony. And ceremony was taught by a teacher, a medicine man or woman, who knew that the spiritual aspect needed to be cast out of the individual. if they wanted to receive it. They were no longer a part of their clan, but they were purged from that camp. That's what purging the evil from your midst is all about. It's getting the evil out of you and out of the camp, because they didn't just cast somebody out of the camp. They did what was needed to heal that individual. But if that individual did not desire to be healed, then they were sent away. So this is what real love is. When you love someone, you do what you can to help heal them if they desire that healing. But many people sadly do not want the healing because they're more comfortable with the pain than they are to do the work that is needed to get rid of the pain in their life. So that applies to us today. We cannot heal people that do not desire to be healed. Alright, that's what I got for y'all. Shalom, Havarim. Bye.